What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another Battlefield 6 gun guide. This is the series where I dive deep into the important stats of the gun to find out what the strengths and weaknesses are and how it stacks up against the others, and then toward the end of the video, I share some recommended attachment setups with that gun. And in today's episode, we're still in the assault rifle category, we're moving on to the TR-7. And starting it off as always, let's have a look at our raw power potential. And with this gun, we've got a moderate rate of fire at 720 rounds per minute. However, considering the rate of fire, we're dealing a ton of damage here at 33.4 to the body, meaning it will be a 3-shot kill in the maximum damage range for an insanely fast time to kill potential at 167 milliseconds. This is by far the fastest killing assault rifle in the game, and this even outguns most of the SMGs in the game up close, if you're hitting your shots, of course. And unsurprisingly, this exceptional time to kill potential extends out to its second and third damage range as well. Even though it's taking an extra shot to kill for each range, we're still killing the fastest in the category. As for headshots, at least in the maximum damage range, by default, headshots are completely useless. It's still going to be a 3-shot kill even if every bullet hits the head. However, with hollow point, we can get a 2-shot kill if we hit both bullets to the head. However, as you'll see when we look at recoil, this is highly unlikely to happen very often with this gun. So that's the raw power, and this gun is a huge outlier in this area for the assault rifles. It has the potential to kill incredibly quickly. Next, let's take a look at our ranges, and everything's just standard here. We have our first damage range drop off at about 21.5 meters, and the second one is at 75 meters. And again, you can see just how good the time to kill potentials are here compared to all of the other assault rifles. After that, let's have a look at our muzzle velocity and drag coefficient. And as we can see here, it's actually the worst in the assault rifle category when it comes to this, at 648 meters per second. And really, it's not like there's a massive variance here between assault rifles, so it is the worst, but at least within the effective ranges due to recoil, this generally shouldn't be causing any serious issues for you with the TR-7. Then, taking a quick look at hipfire, unsurprisingly, it's just the same as the other assault rifles in the game, and with it being a 3-shot kill and having a moderate fire rate at least, there is actually a lot of potential for hipfire if you can get yourself right up close and personal, and I will be sharing a hipfire build toward the end because of this. Now, let's get into the huge limiting factor with the TR-7, and this is recoil. This gun actually has the worst recoil and spread out of any full auto gun in the entire game. So even looking outside of the assault rifle category, this is the least accurate gun in the game. And while everything did recently get a bit of a buff to its spread or dispersion, and that did help with the TR-7, it is still very inaccurate. This thing's going to be bouncing around like crazy for you, and therefore this gun is almost useless at long ranges unless you very carefully tap fire. And even then, it can be a little bit difficult to control, and you have to tap fire so slowly that you really lose any sort of time to kill advantage that you would otherwise have. So that really solidifies this as like a close to mid-range gun at best. But then getting into our handling stats, most of this is pretty standard. However, just like with the AK-4D, we do have a smaller than normal magazine capacity at just 20 rounds rather than 30. And when you consider the fact that this does fire noticeably faster than the AK-4D, I do often find that I'm burning through these 20-round mags very, very quickly. And in my experience with this at least, I feel like I have to be a lot more aware of my magazine at any given time, simply because I can burn through them very, very quickly. And then finally, we have our mobility stats, which are just standard across the board for an assault rifle. And now that we've got all of those multiplayer stats out of the way, I did want to take a quick look at REDSEC as well, just showing our time to kill potentials versus multiple armor plates. And we can see up close, it is a 6-shot kill against somebody with 2 armor plates for a 417 millisecond time to kill, which is an amazing time to kill, unsurprisingly. However, in REDSEC, you are limited very heavily by recoil since a lot of your gunfights will tend to take place at longer ranges. And then on top of that, your magazine capacity is generally very small, which is another big limiting factor for Battle Royale. And there we have it. Now that we've got all of that covered, we can finally move into some recommended attachment combinations that I think are worth trying out with the TR-7. And the first one I've got is my quote-unquote accurate build. With this, to be clear, it's still not going to be an incredibly accurate gun. It's just going to be far more accurate than the base recoil. And on it, we are using the lightened suppressor, not only to stay off the radar, but this also helps quite a bit with recoil control. We're just using the standard barrel on this, the classic vertical underbarrel, since that one is going to help a lot with recoil as well. We have the 20-round fast mag, so we can at least reload a little bit faster since we will have to reload quite often with this gun. And then we're just using the standard ammo and the OSA-7 optic. And like I said, I'm not saying this gun is actually accurate relative to like other assault rifles in the game, but it's accurate for a TR-7, and it allows you to be at least a little more versatile than you otherwise could be, since recoil tends to be the biggest limiting factor with this gun. And I have found with this, as long as you're keeping yourself close to medium ranges, you can absolutely dominate with this particular setup. It's just you still can't really handle long-range fights all that effectively. So that's the first one, and I'd say the most versatile way to use the TR-7, at least in my opinion. However, like I said earlier, the TR-7 can actually do very well with hip fire as well, since it has a moderate fire rate with a very high damage, and you only have to land 3 shots. So with this one, I'm using the flash hider, mainly just to save some points on this. I was going to put a suppressor on there, but all of them, aside from the CQB, will harm your hip fire, and I don't want to harm hip fire, and I don't want to spend all those points on the CQB. So I just decided to scrap all of that, stick with the flash hider. We've got the short barrel, the flashlight, and the 50 milliwatt green laser. The combination of these makes for an incredibly accurate hip fire spread. We once again have the OSA 7 optic on there, just in the cases where we are going to be aiming down sight. And then after that, I've got the combination of the 25 round fast mag, as well as the mag catch for a slightly larger magazine capacity, since with hipfire, we're going to be spraying and praying a little bit more. And also that combination gives us quite a fast reload time at essentially 2 seconds flat. And with this one, as long as you can keep yourself in really close ranges, you can absolutely dominate even SMGs with this, because as I said earlier, most of the SMGs kill slower than this gun, even at point blank range. So there's a lot of potential here, but it's all about keeping yourself right up close and personal. And there we have it. That is going to wrap it up for today's gun guide on the TR-7. And when it comes to my thoughts on this gun, obviously it is quite an outlier. This one really leans toward one extreme. It's not designed to be versatile by any means. And I absolutely like guns like that in the mix. There's really nothing else in the game quite like this, in my opinion at least. And if you can really get a good feel for this gun and you learn how to manage your ranges appropriately and you get that recoil under control to the best of your ability at least, you can be practically untouchable with this gun. The problem is, it's not easy to do that, and the average player is probably going to struggle quite a bit with the TR-7. It's definitely a niche weapon, and I can see it being quite polarizing as well. Some people will absolutely love the TR-7 for its raw killing potential, whereas others will hate it because they just can't hit their shots with it. And I tend to fall somewhere in the middle. I like it sometimes, but I definitely wouldn't want to be using this as an all-arounder game after game. Now, of course, those are just my opinions on the TR-7, and I am very curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How are you feeling about this assault rifle in Battlefield 6? Do you guys really enjoy it, and do you find that you can manage that recoil just fine in order to get that amazing time to kill potential? Or maybe not. Are you on the other end where you just feel like it's way too uncontrollable and you'd rather lean in the direction of something that's more accurate and versatile? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.